entered into writing this talk thinking that what I really wanted to share with everyone was how prayer has affected my life. But upon further examination, I realized that to get to the root of why prayer is so important to me, I need to first speak about my anxiety. I guess you could say that I've always been an anxious kid. I worried about everything, from what I was going to wear to dance or to where my parents were, and if my house was going to burn down in the middle of the night. My parents even had to establish an escape plan just to get me to sleep at night. Another instance of this was when I was in preschool and I forgot my silky at home. A silky is basically a little square of silk that I carried around like a blanket. My favorite one was purple. I sat in the library nook and cried until my mom came to school with one, after which the teacher suggested that I have a backup one at school because she couldn't keep having to deal with my meltdowns. Even dance class was difficult. I would go into class, pick my spot at the bar, and immediately look out the glass pane door to make sure that my mom was seated where I could see her. Class would begin, and I would happily do the combinations, all while keeping a lookout to see if my mom had moved. On the occasion that she did move, I would inconspicuously inch myself closer to the door to get a better view. If she wasn't in that waiting room, there was most definitely going to be a problem. My bottom lip would start to quiver, and soon enough I would be crying, getting tears all over my leotard. My dance teacher, Miss Judy, who witnessed this pretty much every week, would walk over to the door and miraculously find my mom. Come to find out, she had run out to the car to grab something and had not left me forever. Nevertheless, the full-blown meltdown had begun, and I would usually end up in the bathroom sniveling or out in the waiting room with my mom watching ballet class. You might be thinking, well, okay, little kids cry all the time, but my outbursts became so much of a problem that if my mom left, I would know without even being near the door, and would slowly dissolve into tears no matter what we were doing in class. You may think that this is something that I should not be sharing, as it is most definitely an embarrassing childhood story, but my anxiety was a big part of my life. I guess it is still a part of me, as there are times that I wish I could still fall apart like that 3-year-old me because I feel like I can't control a situation. So, how this connects to prayer may be a little vague at this point, but prayer is one of the things that helped me to cope with and heal my anxiety. Growing up, every night before bed, I would say my prayers and go down the list of close family, friends, and stuffed animals, making sure that each one was accounted for and blessed, with safety and love. If I missed someone, I would worry that something terrible would happen to them, and would have to start the list of intentions all over. I don't think that most 3-year-olds really pray this way, but maybe they do. I can't say. We went to church on occasion, and thanks to my mom, I knew some of the stories from the Bible and some Catholic prayers. So prayer was in my life, sometimes. As I got a little older, my prayers pretty much stayed the same, though the worries and anxieties changed. There were times that I stopped praying altogether, and it wasn't until recently that I turned back to it. This somewhat recent return to prayer came from my family's decision to go back to church on a regular basis. Now much older and somewhat less anxious, prayer and learning more about prayer has become an organic practice for me, and what it means to me has been and continues to be an evolving process. I take what I can from readings in church to inform my prayer, but I find that the moments during the week when I can sit quietly with myself are the most helpful to me. There's much to be said about sitting with your thoughts. Life gets busy, homework and other responsibilities that need attention start to get in the way, and it was, and still is, too easy for me to brush myself aside in order to get things done. I think that I was finally able to see this at the end of my junior year, and it was part of this realization that contributed to my decision not to dance this year. I encourage everyone to spend some time just sitting quietly if you feel overwhelmed. This time will allow you to think more clearly. I try to pray every morning, but I'm not perfect, and I miss some days. I use prayer in all areas of my life, whether it be in the form of running commentary in my head or a more specific, isolated intention or problem. Prayer is time to reflect on my day or week and to find the ways to make myself a better person. It is where I go to find strength, focus, and guidance for what I need to accomplish. But most of all, it is where I try to teach myself to let go of my control, to let go of my need for control by realizing what I can and can't control. Prayer is about faith, about my faith that God will lead me to where I need to be and that I'm not alone, no matter how anxious I'm feeling. Ultimately, prayer is a form of meditation. It has given me a sense for the power of thoughts and words. On many occasions, prayer has allowed me to be led where I need to be, and coming to Westover, among many other opportunities, was one of those life events that I attribute to prayer. Sometimes these words prayer and meditation are a little intimidating, and are attached to certain religions or beliefs. But I found that it doesn't help to get hung up on the words and the ideas that are associated with them. I guess what I'm really saying is that I use prayer simply to become a better version of myself, a less anxious, more focused me.